It's a tough climate out there for education marketers, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
The
Yeah.
ground keeps shifting, and attracting students feels more competitive than ever.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to keep your institution ahead, getting the crucial insights quickly is, well, it's key.
Yeah,
That's exactly what we've set out to do today.
precisely. We've distilled the essential marketing takeaways from a bunch of recent articles in a pretty compelling case study,
Okay.
all with a laser focus on what's relevant and, actionable for people promoting educational institutions like yours.
Right.
We want to give you the vital information without sort of overstorming you.
Absolutely. So we're looking at how Baldwin County Public Schools connected with their community using digital tools. That's the case study.
Yep, that's the one.
Yep.
And then exploring overarching strategies for guiding students, from initial interest all the way to enrollment.
Okay. The funnel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And examining the core pillars of marketing for higher ed, the maybe surprising impact of text messaging on student retention,
Oh, interesting.
and some important trends in reaching students through SEO and authentic storytelling.
Right. Think of this as your streamlined guide to what matters most right now.
Let's maybe dive right into that concrete example then. The case study of Baldwin County Public Schools in Alabama.
Okay.
This is a rapidly expanding district, really focused on academic excellence and community engagement.
And their marketing had some very specific aims, right?
Yeah.
To make sure the community knew about the great things happening, showcase their programs, facilities, and really strengthen those bonds with local families.
Exactly. And to achieve this, they implemented a digital marketing campaign.
Okay. What did that involve?
Well, one component was targeted display advertising. So ads aimed directly at parents within the district.
Right.
These ads got over 680,000 impressions
Wow.
and resulted in 800 clicks. But what's particularly interesting here is the view-through conversions.
View through.
Yeah, so more than 1,400 people who saw the ad later visited the school website, even if they didn't click the ad itself.
Ah, okay. So it's about that constant visibility, right?
Yeah.
Keeping the brand top of mind.
Exactly. And they also used meta ads, again, focusing on parents in their district.
And how did those perform?
Even better, actually. Over 1.8 million impressions and, get this, 38,729 total clicks,
Whoa.
which translates to a 2.12% response rate. The case study notes that really exceeded their initial targets.
That's huge for meta ads in this space.
It is. And that level of engagement goes beyond just clicks,
How so?
Well, these ads also generated thousands of reactions, comments, shares, even new page likes.
Okay, so real interaction.
Yeah, this is just a genuine connection. People weren't just scrolling past, they were actually engaging with the content.
And did this translate to their website traffic as well?
It did. Baldwin County saw significant year-over-year growth, almost a 9% increase in overall traffic,
Okay.
and nearly an 8% rise in new users.
That's solid growth.
And what's more, the completion of key actions on their website, things they really wanted people to do, saw a substantial jump of almost 26%.
26%. So people weren't just looking, they were like signing up or finding information.
Exactly. They were actively engaging with important content, accessing info, completing forms, and the average time on site, nearly 2 minutes, that suggests visitors found the content valuable, relevant.
So what kind of content were they pushing in these ads?
Good question. The study highlighted things like school safety, the presence of resource officers.
Always important for parents.
Absolutely. Also, deadlines for virtual school applications, the benefits of enrolling there, their one-voice anonymous bullying reporting platform,
Oh, that's good.
the sheer number of students they serve, showing their scale, and the advanced technology available in their schools.
Those are all really salient points, aren't they? Safety, options like virtual school, tackling bullying, resources.
Directly addressing potential concerns and highlighting strengths builds trust.
Yeah. There's a quote mentioned from Danielle Ludlow in their communications department, right?
Yes, basically saying how valuable the partnership was in getting their successes out there and driving engagement for key initiatives.
So for anyone listening who works in school marketing, this case study really shows how effective a well-planned digital strategy can be, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Tangible proof that targeted online campaigns can reach the right people, boost website traffic, and crucially, build real community engagement.
Okay, so that's one specific example. Let's maybe broaden out now and talk about that that overall student journey, the enrollment funnel concept.
Right. This framework, it outlines the stages a potential student moves through, from just becoming aware of a school all the way to actually enrolling.
And the article you looked at broke it down into stages.
Yeah, 6 key phases: awareness, interest, consideration, intent, application, and enrollment.
Makes sense. And I guess marketers face different challenges at each stage.
Exactly. Like in that initial awareness phase, the big question is just, how do you even reach potential students? It's such a crowded space.
So what works there?
Well, the article suggests a mix. Digital stuff like social media ads, blogs, good SEO, but also traditional methods like college fairs, events, even direct mail still has a place.
And personalization.
Yeah, that comes up. They note younger prospects might respond better to texts or emails, while adult learners maybe appreciate a phone call, something more personal.
Interesting. And video seems big too, right? And virtual tours.
Definitely. Data shows 83% find videos helpful, 79% like virtual tours.
Yeah.
And 63% clicked on digital ads. So online advertising is still crucial for that initial awareness.
Okay, so you've got their attention. They move into the interest stage. Now what?
Now the challenge is standing out.
Yeah.
How do you make your school memorable compared to all the others?
This is where your UVPs, your unique value propositions come in, I suppose.
Exactly. You need to clearly state what makes you different, better. Plus, providing really informative content.
Like what?
Think career-focused blogs, webinars with faculty, tailored emails that show how your institution helps them reach their goals.
Got it. Then comes consideration. They're weighing their options.
Right. And here the goal is building trust and credibility.
How do you do that effectively?
The article really emphasizes direct, personalized communication.
Yeah.
Admissions counselors reaching out via email, phone, video calls.
Answering specific questions.
Precisely. And connecting them with current faculty or alumni through virtual Q&As. That offers invaluable firsthand perspective, builds authenticity.
Sure. And obviously having detailed program info easily available.
Critical. And they also made a good point about tailoring messages for adult learners, addressing their specific concerns, like work-life balance or career advancement.
Right. They have different priorities than, say, an 18-year-old.
Completely different. Okay, so then they move into the intent stage. They're close to deciding.
So you need to keep them engaged, give them that final nudge.
Yep. Consistent personalized communication is still key here. They might have very specific questions about financial aid or program details or the application itself.
And creating some urgency. Deadlines, maybe incentives.
That can work. Clear deadlines. Maybe offering application fee waivers to prompt action. The article also flagged key reasons adults might not enroll.
Oh, like what?
Things like cost, work conflicts, the length of the program, worries about the job market, even remote learning concerns.
That's useful intel for marketers, knowing those potential barriers.
Absolutely. Helps you address them proactively in your messaging.
Okay, so they decide to apply. The application stage. What's important here?
Making it easy. Streamline the online process as much as possible.
Reduce friction.
Exactly.
Yep.
Proactive check-ins, reminders about documents, maybe a dedicated help desk with resources that can all reduce applicant drop-off. Even just encouragement helps.
Right. And finally, enrollment. They're in, but the job's not done.
Not at all. Now it shifts to ensuring a smooth transition and, importantly, fostering long-term retention.
So guidance on registration, courses, support services, getting them settled.
Yes, a positive onboarding experience. And then, crucially, analyzing your successes and getting feedback.
From students, families.
Right. About the whole journey. That lets you continuously improve your strategies.
Which actually connects nicely to another area you looked at, using text messaging for retention.
Yeah, that was interesting. Student retention is a huge challenge, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this article positions text messaging as a really direct and, frankly, effective tool. That stat they quoted, 98% of texts are read. That's pretty powerful.
It really is, compared to email open rates.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can use it for timely reminders, deadlines, schedules.
Exactly. Assignment deadlines, schedule changes, important announcements.
Mm-hmm.
A quick, personalized text is a very effective nudge. Keeps students on track.
But it's not just reminders, is it?
No. Its utility goes further. Engaging new students' info about orientation, campus resources, even proactive support.
Like advisors reaching out?
Yeah, maybe if a student seems to be struggling. A text can be a less intrusive first step than a phone call sometimes.
That makes sense. And building community, too. Event reminders.
Definitely. Informing students about campus events, clubs, activities that enhances their whole experience, which helps retention.
But there are potential pitfalls, right? Compliance issues.
Huge ones. The article stressed compliance with regulations like the TCPA, the Telephone Consumer Protection Act. You absolutely need explicit opt-in consent.
Can't just start texting everyone.
No way. And managing message fatigue is key. You have to balance frequency and content, make sure it's relevant.
Otherwise, people just opt out.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And technically, integrating texting platforms with your existing student information systems, your SIS, that's crucial for automation and personalization.
So you can send the right message to the right student at the right time.
That's the goal.
And how do you know if it's working? What metrics matter?
Good question. The article pointed to things like response rates, opt-out rates, appointments scheduled via text,
Okay.
and ultimately the impact on actual student retention rates.
Mm-hmm.
Gathering feedback on the texts themselves is also important.
Did they have examples of schools seeing success?
They did. Hartford Community College saw students getting text reminders about events were like 53.7% more likely to persist.
Wow.
In Arkansas Tech University, hit 94% retention for first-year students in a program who got supportive texts.
Those are significant numbers. Really shows the potential.
It really does. Okay, maybe we can shift gears slightly now and talk about those foundational elements, the 4 pillars of higher ed marketing.
Right. This came from a white paper, you said.
Yeah.
What are the 4 pillars?
They are branding and reputation, outreach and engagement, assessment and analytics, and finally, innovation and adaptation.
Okay, let's break those down quickly. Branding and reputation is how you're seen.
Pretty much. Your image, your values, what you're known for in the eyes of students, families, the community.
Got it. Outreach and engagement, that covers all the ways you connect.
Yeah, all the touch points from initial awareness right through that whole funnel we just talked about.
Makes sense. Assessment and analytics, that's the data part.
Exactly. Measuring what's working, what's not, understanding ROI, identifying areas to improve. Crucial.
And innovation and adaptation, staying current.
Yep. Keeping up with new tech, changing student expectations, being flexible enough to adjust your strategies when needed.
So these 4 pillars provide a kind of framework for evaluating your whole marketing effort.
That's the idea. The white paper apparently even has a self-evaluation checklist
Oh, useful.
to help marketers see where they're strong and maybe where there are gaps in their approach across these pillars. It gives that holistic view.
Okay. And that ties into how universities are actually connecting with students today, which is always evolving, isn't it?
Constantly. The final article we looked at really hammered this home. It stressed the growing importance of, well, authentic student voices.
Right.
Data-driven approaches through the whole funnel, using texting strategically, SEO, and just solid data management.
And the authentic voice part, user-generated content, UGC, and storytelling. That seems huge now.
Incredibly powerful. When prospects see real photos, read real testimonials, hear real stories from current students, it just builds trust and relatability in a way polished marketing often can't.
Feels more credible, doesn't it?
Totally. The article gave examples like using student stuff from social media, real testimonials on your site, maybe longer blog posts about a student's journey.
Behind-the-scenes glimpses.
Yeah, that too. Or even running UGC contests to encourage students to share their experiences.
Okay. Now, you mentioned SEO again. The article called it a potential blind spot for universities. What does that mean?
It means many might be basically invisible online to a lot of potential students because their websites aren't optimized for how people actually search.
And people do search. That Statista number was striking. 89% of college-bound students say university websites are their most important resource.
Exactly. So if you're not showing up in relevant Google searches, you're missing a huge chunk of your audience.
What are the common mistakes universities make with SEO?
Well, one big one is focusing too much on branded keywords terms with the university's name.
Right.
They often neglect the non-branded, longer phrases, the long-tail keywords that students use early on, like someone searching for, affordable engineering programs in Chicago.
Ah, okay. Need to capture that exploratory search traffic.
Precisely. Also, technical issues are common. Websites that aren't mobile-friendly, pages that load slowly, that kills your rankings and frustrates users. Google says you'll lose over half your mobile visitors if a page takes more than 3 seconds to load.
Ouch.
Yeah. And outdated or poorly organized content, bad internal linking. That all hurts SEO too.
So search is important at every stage of that funnel we talked about.
Definitely. From broad searches early on to comparing specific programs, right down to finding application details later.
And it's not just other universities you're competing against in search, is it?
Good point, no. Alternative providers like Coursera or Udemy often have really strong SEO games. They show up a lot.
But some universities are doing it well.
Oh, yeah. The article mentioned Arizona State using specific landing pages for programs. and Carnegie Mellon having a strong multi-channel content strategy. It can be done.
And local SEO is important too, right? For attracting students nearby.
Very much so. Optimizing your Google business profile, using location keywords, getting local reviews, that helps you show up for people searching in your area. Remember, a third of mobile searches are location related.
Wow. Okay. So universities need to look for content gaps on their sites.
Yes. Are you really answering the key questions students have? Cost, career outcomes, campus life. Do you have good hubs for each program?
And AI in search is changing things too. Zero-click results.
It is. More answers appearing right on the Google results page. So the advice is, publish really high-quality, well-structured content. Use structured data markup so Google understands it, keep it fresh. Boost your site's expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness, EAT. And maintain consistent branding.
It's a lot to keep track of. What about paid search versus organic SEO?
The article compared them. Paid search gets faster results, but organic SEO builds more sustainable, long-term visibility and often more trust.
So a balanced approach is probably best.
That's what they advocated. Integrate both strategically.
And they offered some concrete SEO actions schools can take.
Yeah, things like do proper keyword research for those non-branded terms. Build a content strategy around answering student questions, blogs, guides, FAQs. Fix the technical website problems, and use that student-generated content we talked about.
Okay. And briefly on the budget side of things, marketing budgets in higher ed.
Well, with enrollment fluctuating, spending wisely is more critical than ever. Digital marketing spend is high, often over 75% of the budget.
So where should that money go?
Key areas are still SEO, PPC ads, social media, email, events, webinars, maybe influencer marketing, engaging alumni.
The usual suspects, but needing careful allocation.
Right. And optimizing that spend means using data analytics heavily, personalizing content, looking at automation and AI for efficiency, and nurturing organic content and community outreach.
It all sounds very interconnected, understanding the journey, using the right tools, managing the budget.
Exactly. And those future trends, I mentioned AI, VRR for virtual tours, maybe more data personalization, even ethical marketing show where things are heading.
Like the Georgia State chatbot example for AI. Or Stanford's virtual tour?
Yeah, examples like that point the way forward. Staying aware of these trends is essential for staying effective.
So, to kind of wrap things up, we've covered a lot of ground. From the student journey stages and how marketing fits in, to specific digital tools like targeted ads, SEO, text messaging.
Right, the practical tools.
The huge value of authentic student stories, and the need for strategic, data-driven budget management.
Those are really the core pieces, aren't they? Understanding the student, using the right tools smartly, being authentic, and managing resources well. That's the formula for navigating education marketing today.
It really does seem to come back to genuinely understanding why students make the choices they do, what motivates them, what their concerns are.
Absolutely. As some of the sources highlighted, getting that why right seems foundational to everything else, if you understand their motivations and behaviors.
Then you can build strategies that actually connect. It's definitely something for listeners to think about. How well do they understand the why for their own prospective students? Exploring that could be key to strengthening those connections and ultimately boosting enrollment and retention.